Coming up tonight on News Center Now, the effort to help homeless veterans. It's working across the country, but often the focus is on men. But there are women veterans who need help too, and tonight we'll go to a place doing just that.
And in one Maine community, there's a couple of efforts ongoing right now to connect different cultures. This mural plays a large role. This is News Center Now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lee Nelson.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. The number of veterans experiencing homelessness has declined about 50% nationwide since 2010. While that number's on the decline, advocates for homeless veterans say the problem still very much exists, especially for women.
So what can be done? Well, here in Maine, one nonprofit in Augusta is working to change those stats. Our Samantha York shows us how.
As you walk through the Betsy Ann Ross House of Hope,
and this is our kitchen,
you'll see the coffee is always hot and the company is always full.
There you go. Just like you would in a normal house.
There's just one difference.
As soon as we opened the doors and said, okay, we're ready, we had 3 women.
The nonprofit has been giving female veterans facing homelessness a fresh start since 2017.
Every day we have a chore list.
Allowing veterans like Tracy Dorweiler to get back on their feet and regain their independence.
I didn't even know about this place.
The Madawaska native proudly served her country in the Army, but her life after the military was a different story.
You go and live in abusive relationships because you feel you're no good, you get involved with the wrong people. It just takes one situation to crash your world.
That situation came in the form of check fraud, landing Dorweiler behind bars for 18 months.
I thought it was the end of the world, and what am I going to do? Oh my God, I didn't know where I was going to go.
After serving more than a year in prison on good behavior, she was granted permission to finish out the rest of her sentence here. She says it's been life-changing.
They welcomed me with open arms.
And these are 2 good-sized bedrooms.
Its founder, Martha Everett St. Pierre, notices a change in these women almost instantly.
And it gives them responsibility that, you know, this is the place that they live. It's not just some flop house. They need to keep it well cared for. They have chores to do every day.
Dorweiler and St. Pierre believe resources like this have the power to create a ripple effect of change and spark a very important conversation around female veterans and homelessness.
It's not like these women want to be homeless or they want a handout. They don't. They want a hand up. They want someone to just say, I hear what you've gone through. I hear what's happening in your life. Let's see if we can help you. Let's see if we can do something to bring it together.
In Augusta, Samantha York, News Center, Maine.
Very sweet story there.
Very nice indeed. All right, let's talk about the weather.
Yes.
It was a great day, and we have not said that a lot lately. So Keith is here. We know the ball won't roll too much farther down the line, but can we keep it rolling a little bit, Keith?
Yes.
Lindsay, I love that dress. Where did you get that? It's great. Maybe we can run some credits later.
He's giving me a hard time. Us women, you guys know, ladies, you know, if someone asks you or compliments your clothing, you got to tell them where it's from, how much you paid, and the story behind it.
Right. What a great deal it was.
That's how we justify the shopping.
Backyard comments we've been having about this.
It is a nice dress, though. Anyways, let's have a look outside. The visible satellite was pretty clean. Did you guys notice the smoke today at all?
No, Corey was talking about it at noon.
We're going to talk a little bit more about it later, but it was a weird milky day, and it was because of smoke. But we were able to still get, in a lot of places, into the 70s despite that. 61 right now in Portland, 67 in Saco. A little bit of a sea breeze has kicked in along the coastline. In the upper 60s in Bangor and to Plymouth at 66 degrees. Hour-by-hour forecast, partly cloudy tonight. It's interesting because the models were trying to kick up a little sprinkle late tonight over southern Maine. I'm not sure where they're getting that from. Most likely what it is maybe a little bit of fog that's kicking on shore. Tomorrow's a pretty good day, as we talked about. Today was going to be the best day. Tomorrow not quite as nice, and there's more clouds around. Notice through the middle of the day here. And we'll be flirting with the fog bank along the coast off and on through the day, and you know exactly what that looks like. With that fog bank's right offshore, comes onshore, goes back, and I think especially over the mid-coast and down east, that will be the situation. Guys, Sunday still doesn't look bad. It's it's an okay weekend. That's really the best way to put it. Not amazing, but we've got some nice periods of time in there at least.
We'll take it.
We will.
Taking a look at some headlines tonight, a judge has issued an order allowing Missouri's only abortion clinic to continue providing the service. Circuit Judge Michael Stelzer issued a temporary restraining order just hours before the St. Louis Planned Parenthood Clinic's license to perform abortions was set to expire. Attorneys for the state health department said safety violations were found at the clinic during an inspection last March, and they argued the license shouldn't be renewed until those violations are corrected.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, is collecting information about CBD, the cannabis derivative. Now, this is non-psychoactive. You won't get high, unlike the THC compound found in pot. CBD is in many, many products already: candy, syrups, oils, drinks, skin patches, dog food. For now, the FDA says CBD is not allowed in food, drinks, and supplements, but it's exploring ways that it might allow its use. No decisions expected immediately, but today's hearing in Washington is seen as a big step toward clarifying regulations around this hemp ingredient.
New documents released today in the Jussie Smollett case. They reportedly show prosecutors told Chicago police detectives a possible deal with the actor was in the works a month before charges against him were dropped. The 460 pages show detectives investigating Smollett's claim he was the victim of a hate crime. We're told by Cook County prosecutors a deal with Smollett could include a $10,000 fine and community service. Chicago's police spokesman says the detectives did not pass the information to superiors because they assumed a deal would include Smollett admitting to wrongdoing, but that was not the case in the end.
There is a new proposed project in central Maine that might just change the way a lot of people think about green energy.
Might get you thinking too. This energy plant is a bit more brown. Sean Stackhouse joins us from Bangor. Sean, clearly we need to get some explanation for this one.
Well, Lee and Lindsay, it's a plan that's bringing together two unlikely partners: Kennebec County dairy farmers and Summit Natural Gas. They plan to take cow manure from multiple farms in the Clinton area and turn it into natural gas. The process would take place at Flood Brothers Farm, where the manure would be put through a digester and turned into renewable natural gas. Summit says it's possible that this alone could provide natural gas to 45% of its customer base in Maine, just by transforming something that cows naturally produce.
We're taking manure that would otherwise be emitting methane emissions into the air, and we're turning it into natural gas. This is an exciting project because it's rare that you have the opportunity to create green energy jobs and have a nice environmental impact, and also be able to invest and work with an industry that's so important to the social fabric of Maine.
Now, the Manure to Energy project is expected to be a $20 million investment from Summit Natural Gas, but it's still early on in the development process. Summit hopes to be producing the natural gas by 2021. And all of the full story on this aromatic story and the unlikely partnership coming up tonight at 6. Lee and Lindsay.
All right, sounds good. Sean, thank you very much. Coming up, we're going to learn about how Ford is using recycled plastic bottles to actually make their vehicles.
And from a massive mural to an impromptu soccer game, Biddeford firefighters and students are connecting with their diverse community. That story when we come back.
I got some more news for you. Ford is getting kudos for its use of recycled plastic bottles. Listen to this. Ford says it uses about 300 recycled plastic bottles in every vehicle. So that's more than 1 billion bottles per year. Here's how the whole thing works. The plastic is shredded and then sold to suppliers that then convert it into fiber, used to make sheets of plastic, and then Ford gets those back and uses the plastic for the underbody covers of all Ford cars and SUVs, and also in the wheel liners of the F-Series trucks. The company says recycled plastic is ideal for automotive parts because it's so lightweight, which helps with aerodynamics and with fuel efficiency.
Pretty cool. Well, if you're concerned that your Amazon Alexa device is recording your conversations, there's a new voice command you should know about. You simply say, Alexa, delete everything I said today. If only we could do that in real life. Alexa will erase any conversations recorded between midnight and the minute you say that command. Up until now, you would have to open the Alexa app on your phone to delete your voice history. However, you must still opt into the feature and switch on Enable Deletion by Voice. Amazon says it will add another voice command in the coming weeks, which is, Alexa, delete what I just said.
So Isaac in our ear just said, I wonder if that triggered anything. If people are watching, they have their volume up. It may have triggered that in people's homes. So sorry, we just deleted all the information. Hey, FedEx will soon be delivering package to you 7 days a week. It's a move to serve the growing demands of online shoppers. During the holiday season, FedEx Ground was doing this 7 days a week anyway, but beginning in January, the service will continue Sunday deliveries year-round for the majority of the U.S. population. FedEx also says it's reworking its rules for handling big packages to ensure safe and reliable handling of those.
Coming up, we're going to show how some groups in Biddeford are working to break barriers with their community.
All right. And Keith will be back with a full look at the weekend forecast as well.
Of course.
When Biddeford firefighters rushed to a recent medical call, they realized there was a language barrier when they tried to talk to the neighbors.
Now they're working to change that, and it turns out they aren't the only ones in Biddeford working to create a connection with Iraqi members of the community. A neighborhood soccer game, unlike any other. Because the game ends with a photo shoot in front of a fire truck. How did they meet? For the firefighters, it started like any other day.
We had a serious call. It came in as a cardiac arrest, 10-year-old cardiac arrest in a community in Biddeford where it's pretty much community is all Iraqi people that live there and their children.
When they got to the scene, a different scenario caught them by surprise.
The mother was coming out with this baby in her arms. It's like, wait a second, that's not a 10-year-old.
Rescuers had to change gears quickly to help a tinier patient than expected, having a seizure. All throughout, unable to communicate with the parents.
You know, it can be very scary for them coming here, not understanding what we do and how we operate, and going there and just grabbing the baby.
The baby was okay, but mom and dad were understandably scared, and the firefighters left feeling like they could have done more to comfort the parents. That's what sparked the idea to find and distribute this, a fire safety info sheet in Arabic. They're also making time to connect with the kids in that community, many who do speak English and can translate for the parents.
They're pretty amazing kids.
In Biddeford, the outreach efforts go way beyond the fire department. If you've been walking through the Pepperell Mill campus anytime soon, you may have seen this big mural going up. There's a story behind it, and there's one just like it in Iraq.
We're able to highlight and hone in on people's shared humanity.
2 murals, 2 countries, 2 classrooms. The one in Iraq was completed last week. Biddeford 4th and 5th graders will soon help put the finishing touches on this mural. Before the painting, they were video chatting.
It was so exciting in the classroom to see the kids' expressions.
Discovering they have a lot in common.
Of course, pizza was the major commonality amongst all the children.
The Biddeford community building bridges to their Iraqi neighbors at home and abroad, one brushstroke or soccer kick at a time. And the mural project is a collaborative effort led by 2 groups, the Good Works Foundation based in Boston and Apt Art, which is an international organization, and they've actually helped make hundreds of murals all across the country, connecting, countries that have matching murals.
Oh, that's really cool.
All over the world, so it's really cool.
That was a great one, too. Love those. Love
yeah,
those.
It's really pretty.
All right.
I've always thought about this. I'm pretty good at drawing, but I couldn't imagine how do they
see it and then bring it down to a
There's no
smaller
scale.
Yeah,
So
there's a super skill there.
Yeah.
There's a science behind it. Yeah.
I don't know. I would end up with like a tiny little head at the end or something. Like I would have no idea
The ratio
what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we had some smoke today. We're going to talk about that a little bit. You guys didn't even notice it. It's funny because a lot of people did.
Okay.
And we first were trying to determine what it came from, and then we figured it out. So let's have a look first. And I don't know what I'm starting with. That was a really long transition. All right, here's a look at the satellite right now, which is showing only the actual cloud cover. But if you look closely, you'll see this little kind of film. Compare it to out here, right? We'll wait for it to pass, where it's actually clear, and then the film kind of over Maine. We can blame Canada for this. This is the smoke that is coming in from satellite. So this is the fire in Alberta, Canada, and look how it streamed across and made its way right into Maine. We weren't the only ones. Vermont had this problem, and northern New Hampshire as well. And in fact, if we look at the satellite over that part of Canada, it is very milky. So that's all that smoke being picked up and being pulled in our direction. We'll talk more about how that can happen in Braindrops in just a few minutes. All right, temperatures still recovered, did pretty nice considering. I would say something like this can knock a degree or two off your high temperature because the sun is being filtered, but still 70s over Sanford, 60s. We got a little warmer than this. We've kicked back into a sea breeze in Wiscasset, Rockland, and Bar Harbor. Our forecast tonight is clear to start. As I mentioned before, it tried to indicate a few showers here late tonight. I think more so what's happening is we're getting a little bit of fog that is moving in. And we'll be flirting with fog banks along the coastline tomorrow, and so I'm a little concerned over the mid-coast and down east that those fog banks will get onshore even in the middle of the day. Get away from that, and it's partly cloudy, upper 60s, low 70s, a pretty nice day. Sunday, we start with a couple of showers that actually really start overnight Saturday. And then we get this middle part of the day on Sunday that's not bad, but there isn't much sunshine. So temperatures into the mid-60s. Here come some showers and thunderstorms on Sunday night, and then we clear out for Monday. So not a ton of total rain, but there will be shower chances in there on Sunday. The temperature trend is not great here. I painted in the average high, and we're going to be living below that Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even when we start to warm up late in the week, it probably will not be substantially above average. So, again, the weekend's okay. Tomorrow's good. I don't love it. It's not as clear-cut as today. I think it's a better day the farther away from the coast you go. How about that? That's a good way to put it. Showers scattered around on Sunday, but not a washout, clearing on Monday. Some indications that things will turn nicer late next week, but we've been teased with that a few times. So I took the computer model's output and chopped about 10 degrees off them. That way we can have realistic expectations of what our life will likely be like here in Maine. But we'll see. You know, if it sticks, then it sticks. But we've just had a lot of those lately.
Right,
sure.
right.
Teases.
Realistic expectations.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
We haven't had a That's So Maine in a while because, you know, we just haven't been looking for them.
You got to wait for a really good one, right?
You do have to. P. Liddy, you are delivering. She's one of our loyal viewers. She sent us a funny sign from Canton. The first one, why don't ants get sick? Because they have antibodies.
Of course.
Right.
And the second one, fact. Drinking every day is way healthier than being dead.
Well, there you go.
It is.
That's one way to look at that.
Hey, the king of horror might have just written his best yet.
And I made the mistake of looking at this before bed last night. Stephen King tweeted out a short story that definitely would scare all Mainers. Here it is. Want a little bedtime story? My friend felt he had a hair caught between his eye and his glasses. He couldn't get rid of it, so he looked in the mirror. A tick was crawling on his eyeball. Nighty night, sleep well. I read that literally as a bedtime story. I couldn't shut my eyes.
Yeah, that is awful. That is awful.
Leave it to Stephen King.
How do you get that off of there?
I don't know. Let's hope it didn't bite.
Stick in. Oh!
I know.
I'm done.
Let's switch gears. I have other exciting news to get to.
You're going to turn this all around now.
We're going to turn it around. A lot of you guys reaching out, asking on Facebook and email, saying, I look a little different. Well, you guys are right. You watch pretty closely, apparently, because Clay and I are expecting. We're going to be parents for the first time. I know. So Keith and Lee, I'm welcoming unsolicited advice. You guys know Keith's already been doing that.
I was going to say, you need to ask Keith for advice.
It does help, though, that, you know, Keith just went through this process. But there he is. There's our little guy, and you can see his heart. And yeah, it's just so fascinating, the science of like going in and the ultrasounds and looking at them.
I think that first, congratulations. It's awesome. I think those ultrasounds have gotten clearer over the years because ours was a big old mush the last time I saw it. There, couldn't tell what it was. That's very clearly a baby. That's really cool.
And I'm sure Clay and I will be asking you both, Cindy and Lee, a lot for advice on how you juggle working together on the same news team and then also manning the ship at home. You know, maybe that tag team situation where.
Yeah, there was a tag team going on for a long time. So.
Yeah, so it's cool. We're excited. But
yeah,
now I can show the book.
That's right. That's
We've
right.
been keeping this quiet for a while.
We
It's been driving us
and
crazy.
Gotta love Cindy because she went maternity clothing shopping with me not long ago, and she was very nice about it. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough shopping out there for that kind of stuff.
Sure
I know the
is.
feeling. So, yeah.
Well, a
Well,
lot
congratulations, my dear.
Thank
We're very
you
happy
so
for
much.
you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Super excited. We got to turn the tables a little bit here because we got to talk about some news coming up on News Center at 5:30. In just a few minutes, we're going to take you to Rumford. This is a great story. The world's oldest Patriots fan is going to be leading a Super Bowl parade there. Chris Costa is there. We're going to take you there. But we also have some breaking news to tell you about. There's been a shooting apparently in Virginia Beach at a courthouse there. We are hearing that there are definitely injuries, possibly fatalities. We'll have the latest on that. Plus, you got to see this tattoo to believe it. You just have to. He's going to show it.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Jar Jar Binks.
That would be Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars, and we were gonna tell you why this man felt compelled to have Jar Jar on his back.
Jar Jar's got good teeth.
You know, the guy went all in. You got to admire that about him, I think.
All in.
All in.
All in.
Yeah.
I love the smile of Dustin Zlatkowski as he walks by, knowing he's about to deliver this quirky story. We'll see you guys at 5:30.
All right,
We're back
sounds
with
good.
Raindrops after this.
All right, a little bit more about the smoke there, because I thought it was pretty interesting. You might ask yourself, how does it get from Western Canada
Right.
over here so quickly, because the wildfires are still ongoing. What I'm showing you here is the jet stream. So that's the current of air that moves our weather, and also planes ride it if they can, because it saves a lot of fuel. So in the yellows and oranges up over the upper Midwest, that's a jet streak, so a really fast moving jet stream. Notice it's almost a direct path from that part of Canada to Maine, northern New England, and that's why southern New England didn't really see this so much. Next graphic is something that is one of those limiters of weather, which is this is what the computer models think the sky cover look like today. It has no clouds anywhere in Maine. The situation here is that smoke data is not inputted into our models right now.
Oh.
So GFS Euro models do not know there are wildfires there. It's only those really small scale models that have that information. And so a lot of our remaining hurdles in weather forecasting are getting enough data into the models to give us the right output. And so this is one of those things that we would have had to look last night and kind of figured it out on our own, and we missed it. And I don't know anybody who got it, but it's an interesting little kind of loophole in the models.
Interesting. You had to kind of work backwards once you saw the smoke
Once we messed that up, we went backwards. Yeah.
Very good. Have a good weekend, everybody. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.